One of my favorite artists is actually Dolly Parton. She is one of the first female artists to write her own music, and she's done everything by her own rules, and I absolutely love her. More contemporary artists that I really love are, I love Rihanna. I love everything that she stands for. She's, I am biased because she is one of our artists, but she also has done things in a way that were very authentic and true to herself, and she does it without apology, which I think is amazing as a woman. I think one of the best things that I've learned from artists that have become successful over their careers with me working with them is that you have to be authentic and true to yourself. You have to record the music that speaks to you. You have to perform in a way, in a manner that you're most comfortable doing, and any kind of ancillary sponsorship or endorsement or anything has to be something that you actually truly love and are passionate about, because otherwise you're not connecting with your consumer, and that's the whole point. If you're an artist, you're doing it for the artistry, and you're doing it to connect with your fans, and the only way to really do that is to do it in a genuine way. So when I first start working with an artist, I really try to find out what their passions are, what they're most interested in doing, and then we try to build out a whole plan in figuring out how we can achieve that. If they're a newer artist, or maybe one album out and they're not as well known and brands probably don't know them as well, then we'll probably try to do some smaller things. So it could be doing a show for them, it could be doing something, incorporating video, it could be doing kind of a small collaboration or whatever, and then you use that to build as a stepping stone, no different than any other career. You start small, and what is the analogy? You crawl, walk, run, and you do the same thing with branding. But it's really easiest if you're making sure that your fans are the same consumers that brand has, and then maybe even more, so you can consolidate them and then grow the base together. So a lot of that is using your digital and social and cross-pollinating both channels from the brand and the artist. And then from there you can build on and start doing bigger and bigger things, to the point where maybe you can actually start owning part of companies, albeit a clothing brand or an alcohol brand, or a home goods brand, whatever it is that your passion is or their passion is outside of just music. And then we can get to that end goal by doing a little baby steps and then building on that. The real essence to a successful partnership is really that both goals and objectives from the artist and from the brand are in alignment. And then from there you can build out a great partnership, and really to listen to each other. Usually the brand is coming to the artist because they want to capture this audience that they don't have or really engage them. So brands would do very well to actually listen to the artist and the creative of it, especially when it comes to any like out-of-home billboard kind of stuff, or if it's a TV commercial, and then on top of it, any kind of digital, including down to like a hashtag. I had some artists that were doing a deal with a very, very big American brand, and they wanted them to hashtag all the stuff that wasn't genuine to them. And they're like, our fans wouldn't like that. They would know that this is fake and not authentic. So why don't you let us come up with things that would actually speak to the fan base that you're trying to get? And so both sides being more a little fluid, and then also, the artist has to have a little trust in the brand and understand that they have certain quotas and things that they need to do, and be fluid even once you get the contract done. Maybe it says you're supposed to do X, Y, Z, and then you realize, maybe we should add on another element to it, or performance, or take something away, or maybe we got enough. So I think both sides, if your goals and objectives align in what you want to do, and then on top of it, you're authentic to that, and then listen to the creative of what the artist really knows how to and how to speak, and I think that you can really have a great partnership. So one of the things I'm most proud of is that in general your reputation is all that you have, and that's all that you can stand behind. And, I've been known as a very strong woman in my industry, and I could be very, staunch in my ways. But at the end of the day, I think anybody would come away knowing that the right deal was made, that I could still, be a woman in my business doing this and do it in an authentic way as a woman instead of trying to pretend I was somebody that I wasn't. So, I'm really proud of the way that I've built my career by being very true to myself. Well, my background really didn't prepare me at all for my job. But, I suppose it did in a way. I mean, there's a new buzzword, it's called grit. And, it's being said as like the new measure of success for children. They have to have grit. They can have all the education they want, but if you have grit, then it really prepares you for life. And coming from a background where, my mom didn't graduate from high school, we did not have any money. I didn't have any mentors. I didn't have anybody who would show me the way. But I definitely had grit because I had to figure out my way on my own. And that's definitely prepared me. It's definitely prepared me for being able to be nimble and figure out things on my own very quickly. And, there's a whole thing about nature versus nurture. And I definitely had something in my nature that said I wanted to persevere and be ambitious and just go it alone. And when people ask me how I got to where I am, I say I don't really know, but I know it was in me, and I needed to accomplish things that were not necessarily in my path being born where I was born. I think a law degree is an amazing path to success because it's an education that is difficult to get. First of all, it's those other extra 3 years of college are no walk in the park, and don't even the bar exam is also, and studying for it is a little short of torture. But once you have that degree, you have a whole separate set of skills that no one else has. CEOs are backgrounds of lawyers. Many presidents, most presidents have a law degree. So it prepares you with another set of skills, and then once you start practicing negotiation or litigation and all of that experience, the research, the way to think on your feet, those are all amazing skill sets that it takes other people a lifetime to learn. And then you can either go into law, you can do it in-house, you can do it at a law firm, you can do all different kinds of law, and you learn all different subjects. If you're in litigation, you learn a ton of different subjects immediately. And then on top of it, you can use that to get to another level. If you don't like it, you want to work in business, you go in-house as general counsel like I did, then I got promoted, to be an EVP doing more strategy and branding because I had learned so much in all of the deals that I had put together that I knew what was successful and what wasn't. So it's a degree that will carry you for the rest of your life, and you will always have that to fall back on. If you try something else, you'll always still be a lawyer, and that is something that no one could ever take away from you. I think one of the keys to success about being a manager is really to understand that there's always more to learn. And it's a never-ending process. There's nobody, I don't care how long you've been doing it, that is perfect at it, that has not benefited from the people that they have worked with, or that somebody has come into the company. Obviously as a manager, you have to be extremely open to other people's personalities and how they work, and figure out how, as a team, you can incentivize everybody to do the same goal. So, while you have to be tough, you also have to be sympathetic, and you have to understand people's personal needs. People have lives, and those lives bring a lot to the table. Their background, their experiences, their family lives. We're all seeing, all the statistics about women, and what how we haven't really gotten as far as we should have in the last 35 or 40 years, what we're seeing is adding in women, mothers, to the table, like brings a lot more balance. It brings better decision making. It brings different viewpoints that are all very important. So as a manager, while you have to get things done and you have to make sure the tasks are being achieved, at the same time, one of the most important goals is to continue to learn from your own team and continue to listen to them as well. I mean, especially in the time of like digital and tech, it's like, don't ask me a question about anything digital. My opinion doesn't matter. I'm over 40. It does not matter. So it's that always, if you really know that you're not so egotistical, that you can learn from other people in your team with much less experience, but still know and command that you're the boss, then that's some of the best assets that a manager can have. Well, the lessons I learned are really lessons that I think are age-old, like kind of cliches and adages, like, listen to your elders. Like, people have done this before. A little bit to the point, it's like, being open as a manager to learn and continue learning from other people. At the same time, there are people with a lot of experience before you. And any time that I felt like I wasn't moving forward, I wanted to quit, or maybe I didn't get the recognition, or maybe I didn't do something right, it's at the same time, like, going out and seeking advice from other people and mentorships, and maybe having to hear stuff about yourself that is not so great to hear, but actually growing from it instead of being just, upset about it, or, retreating or saying, they're not right, and being egotistical about it. You have to learn from these mistakes and learn from what other people are telling you. So, my industry is very small, and, I do business with the same people over and over and over again. So I started seeking advice from other women that are, mentors of mine or even peers of mine, and saying what can I do differently, or what do you think about that? And it has just drastically increased my productivity and my happiness and my ability to manage and lead and my growth in general. And you learn from people, and you want to show your vulnerability, because that is what makes you accessible and makes you just a better person in general. Let alone as an employee, an employer, an executive, a friend, a mother, a partner, all of those things. So I think just learning to listen to other people, I think, is one of the things I've learned most. I think, the main advice to be smart is just to never give up, and don't listen to any negativity. Like, in your heart what you want to do, and I am proof that you can come from absolutely nothing with no mentorship, no guidance, and zero money, and you can, from a tiny town in Washington State, born to a family, who most of it didn't even graduate from high school, and living in Tribeca in New York City, representing, Jay-Z and Rihanna and Kanye and Shakira and numerous other people. You can do anything you want. My story is not obvious, and even the people I work with, it's not obvious. But we got here because we did not listen to the people who told us we could not do it. In fact, that was my motivating factor. If somebody told me I couldn't do it, then I was definitely doing it. And realize when people tell you those things, they're doing it because it's their own insecurities and their own projections and projecting on you. So if you want to do something, then go do it. I even had children by myself because I wanted kids, and doctors told me I couldn't do it, and I went and did it. So you can do whatever you want, just don't let anybody try to stop you.